This is LukePaulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the news of the week for February 15th, 2025. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. Trump takes Gaza. President Trump, when speaking alongside Prime Minister Netanyahu, has claimed that he will be taking Gaza back. Naturally, I am scared of any American or Western involvement in the Middle East, even with one of our only allies against all of the pagans in the Middle East. Supposedly, there will be no American dollars or American soldiers. Remember the Abraham Accords that he successfully negotiated last time around?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
If this was his first term, I probably would not want him anywhere near this. But since he did so well the first time around, I am willing to give President Trump the benefit of the doubt. We have seen how dangerous a country with two governments can be. Just look at East Germany versus West Germany right after World War II and see how well that worked out. We have seen that people desire freedom as opposed to the forces of darkness. Now let us leave international news for a time and go to Elon Musk and his brave team at D.O.G.E. Musk's lack of a commercial. The Super Bowl is an important event for the sheeple of this country. They pay untold amounts of money to watch grown men in tight pants throw a ball back and forth. It is the modern day bread and circuses. However, there were a few highlights aside from the unintelligible song at halftime. During the national anthem, we saw President Trump saluting and the crowd cheered. Meanwhile, when Mockingbird asset Taylor Swift was shown on the Jumbotron, everyone booed. A stark contrast that shows what the American people voted for. In other news, Elon Musk was rumored to have spent $40 million on commercials about D.O.G.E. to air during the Super Bowl. Now these 5 commercials never aired. I have not been this disappointed since the Super Bowl did not play Sweet Victory at halftime. As to why they did not air?
The way I see it, there are 3 possibilities.
1. The heads of the Super Bowl are aligned with the deep state and refuse to air the ads. 2. Elon Musk trolled everyone just so that more people would talk about it. Or 3. This was an unsubstantiated rumor that everyone believed out of hope. Either way, T-Mobile did advertise Starlink in their commercial, and so that was something. The rest of the commercial supposedly just focused on woke nonsense. I, however, did not waste time watching the Super Bowl. No matter who had won, my life would not have changed one iota. However, Musk is changing my life by many iotas. He is tackling the root cause of inflation by cutting out waste. However, the fake news has decided that he is stealing private information. They do not have any evidence for this, but like the Russia collusion, they believe it. Musk and financial records. Elon Musk was granted access to the Treasury Department by President Trump to complete the work of D.O.G.E. The only way to know who the recipient of all the USAID grants is to see who the checks are being made out to. Again, the fake news has decided that he is in there stealing personal information and accessing private bank records. The Democrats have asked if we would trust Elon Musk in our bank accounts, and the answer is a resounding yes. The man is a billionaire. I am sure that he could find some places where I could cut, and might make a few suggestions on where to invest my money. The only people who need to be scared are those who are getting all of the pork. The rest of us have nothing to worry about. I have never seen one Democrat concerned about the IRS, DOJ, or FBI having access to our financial information, and they have the authority to take everything that you have. All D.O.G.E. can do is report to the president where the stolen money is going. Remember that until about 5 years ago, all of the Mockingbirds loved Elon Musk, and now they do not. I mentioned last week that President Trump cannot drain the entire swamp on his own. Well, Elon Musk is getting quite a bit of help as well. Musk's very young team. I say very young team, but they are really not that young. Of those reported by ProPublica, the age range is 19 to 67, a range of 48 years. The median age is 33.5 years, and their average age is 48 years, even if we are just looking at the engineers. Their ages are between 19 and 44, a range of 25 years. Their median age is 26.5 years, and the average age is 28.6 years. These are not punk kids. They are college graduates and the best of the best in their field. From founding companies while still teenagers, to rewriting an entire system in one night, to translating the Dead Sea Scrolls. These people have done it all. I would like to point out that Greta Thunberg was just a kid, but is somehow an expert. And California banned plastic straws after reading a 9-year-old school essay. I would also like to note that the media companies putting these names out there for the public to see spent more time combing through their online histories than investigating where stolen tax dollars go. People are more upset about the people finding the corruption than the people who are corrupt. And that is just sad. Also, we have this list but are still waiting on the Diddy and Epstein lists. They have gotten a lot done so far. They have already gotten to work in departments other than USAID. Luxury hotels for illegals. FEMA spent all of their money helping out the illegals to ensure that Democrats would have their voter bloc. The illegals were put up in luxury hotels in New York rather than just being sent back to their home country. DOGE found that the cost was over $59 million. Officially, this is a reimbursement for New York because they paid the bill. But that is a New York problem, not a federal problem. As a result, FEMA had no money for North Carolina or California. Thanks to DOGE, we now know the staffer who authorized the funds. Granted, we should not have FEMA and the state should keep that money, but I digress. This all after Brandon got them there by military aircraft, whereas President Trump is sending them home by military aircraft. In truth, corruption steals from the poor and gives to the rich. How they got rich. While discussing the job of DOGE, Elon Musk floated the idea of investigating Congress. How is it possible that someone making $174,000 comes out a millionaire or billionaire? It is possible that they are making money on businesses from before they entered Congress, because you essentially need to be rich to get in. However, it actually comes from their insider trading. If they are going to regulate a business out of existence, they can sell off all of their stock. If they are going to give a business special perks, they can buy up all of the stock. If Elon Musk can investigate this, he will be the biggest hero that the people have known in at least a century. Although something tells me that the people who hate him, despite him targeting the super wealthy, will still hate him. This is because the television told them to hate Elon Musk. The Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself. So let us talk about a preacher who has corrupted scripture. The prosperity gospel in D.C. President Trump has reestablished the White House Faith Office and put Paula White-Cain in charge. The office is another advisory board to President Trump with no lawmaking and, to my knowledge, no legal authority whatsoever. The office does have the authority to make recommendations to federal agencies, especially when it comes to standing up to anti-Semitic and anti-Christian groups. Now, I will say that the former of the two has become so broad that it can describe anything. Criticizing George Soros or cutting off federal aid to Israel are both considered anti-Semitic. While it is good to have a person of faith, and White-Cain is an evangelical, which is a plus, she, according to Wikipedia and the Gospel Coalition, preaches the unbiblical prosperity gospel. On the other hand, when you find a perfect teacher of the word, let me know. I have seen a lot of preachers over the years of all denominations in all walks of life, and there have been very few with whom I agreed with everything on. However, we are not of Paul, Cephas, or Apollos, but of Christ alone. We serve Jesus, and if Paula White-Cain can help in the battle against evil, I say more power to her. Now, one thing that I am sure Miss White-Cain would agree with is that we should not lie or steal. Two things that the deep state accused James O'Keefe of. The diary saga continues. I mentioned last week that James O'Keefe got the charges dropped for being in possession of a diary that he tried to return to the proper owner. He has since gotten back the paperwork related to the investigation, but everything is redacted. Even the cause for the raid has been redacted. I spoke with a representative of my local police department and she had some things to say. You cannot just redact everything. You can only redact personal information that could be used against an individual and that which is important to national security. Since clearly neither is the case, this information must have been redacted to protect the deep state operatives who started all of this. I would not be surprised if the feds were the ones who tried to get him the diary in the first place, but they just claimed that they were trying to get the diary to him to investigate. Either way, my source says that he not only has grounds to sue, but should. While James O'Keefe publishes real news where you can see their mouths moving, media outlets have been sensationalizing a woman who needs to keep her mouth closed for a long time to lose weight. Getting a lift. D.O.G.E Blanding weighs 489 pounds or thereabout. It might be slightly less than she is walking everywhere for her frivolous lawsuit. The average vehicle, if there even is one, has a capacity of 1,500 pounds. Ergo, she was a third of the total capacity of the Lyft car. That weight could damage the car beyond repair. After all, she does not need a ride. She needs to walk off all of that weight. She and the rest of the body positivity movement are teaching children that being healthy is not a goal. This is why we need to make America healthy again. However, I think that the biggest irony of all is that she went to speak on The Breakfast Club. It is one of those liberal podcasts that blames other people for their own shortcomings and wants the government to control their lives. When she sat down with them, the chairs were not big enough. They had to bring the couch over for her to sit on. The driver in question has already been doxxed, and under normal circumstances, I do not believe in mocking people for their appearance. But she stepped into the XL spotlight and must now deal with the consequences. However, we can help ensure that children do not follow her bad example with RFK. More nominees confirmed. RFK, Gabbard, and Patel have been officially confirmed by the Senate. Let us start with RFK. We know that there is at least one operative within HHS who wants to clog up his work. Will he be fired or given an ultimatum?
Only Poppins would know.
Either way, I suspect huge and sweeping changes. Maybe even to certain drugs that I am not allowed to talk about on YouTube. Gabbard called out the bioweapons labs in Ukraine and asked for a ceasefire until they could be shut down. Brandon and his ilk did not comply so that the war could wage on, fueling the military-industrial complex. Now she can find out where every biolab in the country is and have President Trump shut them down. Patel was confirmed after the FBI started to declassify the documents on the assassinations of President Kennedy, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., and Robert Kennedy Sr. But because government not only moves at a snail's pace, but they also want to take out the names of every deep state operative involved, they are not finished yet. He has the power to oversee this and make sure that justice is finally dealt after all of this time. By my count, President Trump has 3 nominees left for the Senate to confirm, and people like McConnell will both stall them and stand against our attempts to make America great again. The deep state does not want America to be great again. They just want to keep on lying to us. Speaking of which, Ilhan Omar's brother. Ilhan ballot harvesting Omar is not a fan of the country that she lives in. If she really hates this country so much, she can leave. Moving on. According to the Western Journal and the UK Daily Mail, an old friend has gone on record to say that she did in fact marry her brother, and that this was a scam to get him into the country. Now, if this is found to be true, he should be deported. Now, I do not know what the consequence for lying to get someone into the country is, but I suspect that it is quite extreme. No wonder she and the rest of the Democrats do not want all of the illegals deported. She was afraid that ICE might come for them one day. Now a judge may be the deciding factor of whether this man stays and if this deep state loyalist goes to jail. Speaking of jail time, a certain governor from Pennsylvania has had some accusations against him. Was Shapiro behind Butler?
Yes. No.
A whistleblower claims that Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro was behind the assassination attempt on President Trump in Butler. Recall that this was only the first public assassination since he started campaigning again. The whistleblower has a record of making claims that are thrown out in court. However, in the American justice system,
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
there is yet to be any reason to trust the source, and so we will see. If you see someone posting about it online, be cautious. In the end, Shapiro may have been involved. All we know is that it looks like the Secret Service got a stand-down order, as did local law enforcement. After all, this was the first of 3 known attempts. And she may be right, because
Why, even a broken clock is right 2 or 3 times a day.
maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. But before you go, on the left I have last week's video, but you may also enjoy the video on the right.